I'm Ted Hallman, the author of this exhibition, and I'm a fellow of the American Craft Council. I was asked by the director here, the previous director here at the museum, to do an installation for the museum. They have had very few installations here. I think I may be the first or the second person to have an installation here. And it seemed to make sense for me to work with this landscape idea because I've loved working with trees and working with elements, you might say, of landscape. This idea of doing a tree sculpture is something I've been doing since the early to mid-70s. I started doing I may even have started earlier than that, but those are the ones I'm remembering at the moment. So, but however, these trees here, even though they are a way that I've worked for many years, I made particularly for this installation. This one is mason's cord, cotton mason's cord, and it is a dyed tree. And I couldn't help it going back and making some trees again in this Hallman style because I like these trees and I like to make them too. This is how this one occurred. Now, this black one back here is acrylic yarn, and it's quite heavy yarn, so you can, if I sort of open it so you can see one element coming out there, it's quite thick and it's wonderful to work with. And this is, in a way, a little bit similar to the tree in the collection of the Brooklyn Museum, Brooklyn Art Museum. One of the things that I feel is so important in textiles and that I wanted to get into this exhibition, and it just worked in very naturally, is that color in textiles is very special, and color can be very intense. It can be very many things. It can be reflective color on rayon, and then there's silk. Color on silk has a certain quality. Here's dyes on plastics, like shower curtain fabric. And so I'm creating this very intense feeling of color that to me can only be created through textiles. And I think this is why many painters, I was a painter in my early days, and even majored, got a painting master's at Cranbrook. And many painters, even at Cranbrook, were taking a minor in textiles, and that's when I was asked to come back and teach textiles for Marianne Hammerstrom while she went on a sabbatical. So that was when I made the decision, okay, I'm really more of a fiber artist than a painter. I just love the whole idea of how this linear aspect of this wire is working with other forms and masses in the exhibition. And I think this is where the fiber artist really starts. We start with the thread, the individual thread. So if you can imagine making sculpture beginning with a thread, that was sort of what I felt I was confronting myself with when I wanted to have sculptural pieces in this exhibition. Where do I go from threads and yarns into sculptures? How do I do that? Some of it was apparent in the way I've worked in the past, making sculptures, but some of it developed as I was getting into this process. So I'm Ted Hallman, the author of this installation, and I have enjoyed this work so much. It's kind of stretched me, and I've done many sculptures and worked to create sculptural pieces, but to do an installation, a total room like this is new for me. So I wish that some of my old friends like Aileen Osborne-Webb and some other of those amazing people from the past were here to celebrate this exhibition with me.